Let's talk about black tax. What does that mean to you?
So black tax is something we Zimbabweans specifically deal with on a daily basis.
But these are the things that nobody knows about. Your money is not your money.
Here at home, black tax is seen by some as a form of financial abuse.
Now I'm going to put this aside for this person, put that aside for this person, put that aside for my mom and dad. Before you know it,
This year, for Kenya alone, $1.2 billion have been sent by the diaspora back at home. Why is the conversation important now?
she was like, Mikhail, no, you can't be doing this. You're killing yourself. You're killing them. Because all you do is keep giving. And they got so comfortable that they expect you to do that for the rest of your life.
Black tax, a concept of financially supporting family members who are not so fortunate as you are. A concept which I would say has its roots in Ubuntu philosophy of African society. Ubuntu means I am because we are. The philosophy in itself is a great one because humanity and compassion is at the core of this philosophy. But the abuse of it easily breeds an unending cycle of poverty. A 2019 survey by a media outlet in South Africa, City Press, found that about 70% of black professionals in South Africa are affected by black tax, regularly contributing up to 20 to 40% of their income to support extended family. Similarly, in Kenya, 67% of professionals send money to family members, often straining their own finances. On average, workers contribute around $150 per month to family members, a significant portion of the typical salary. In 2021, a survey found that 60% of Nigerians who earn above average income provide financial support to relatives, especially in rural areas. On average, individuals contribute 30% of their monthly income to meet the financial needs of extended family members. In Ghana, approximately 45% of employed individuals regularly remit part of their income to support family members, according to a 2018 report. This often leaves them with less than 50% of their earnings to meet immediate personal financial goals, talk more of any future or retirement goals at all.
This has been ongoing for a very long time. This year, for Kenya alone, $1.2 billion have been sent by the diaspora back at home. Why is the conversation important now?
In 2022, remittances from African diaspora communities amounted to $53 billion, much of which was sent to support family members back at home. This shows black tax extends beyond the continent itself, and diasporans aren't left out as well. These data highlight the scope of the black tax in Africa and its severe influence on people's capacity to generate personal wealth and achieve financial independence. This informal financial obligation can add a hidden layer of strain, impacting savings, investment opportunities, and long-term wealth building. I am sure by now you already get the idea that it isn't a racist government taxing black people, that's for sure. But the name sure has its roots in the racist apartheid regime of South Africa. The concept of black tax is believed to have originated in South Africa, where it referred to the money black laborers sent home to support their families. This practice arose during apartheid, a time when black South Africans were heavily discriminated against and faced limited economic opportunities. As a result, those who were able to secure employment often had to bear the financial responsibilities for their extended families who lacked similar opportunities. Today, black tax continues to be a significant aspect of contemporary African society. With increased awareness and discussion, questions have emerged about whether this cultural practice is a necessary social responsibility or an oppressive burden that slows individual progress.
In many families, if you are the only child or you become the first child to be successful, and in many South African families, black families, you might be the first one to be a graduate. So you are successful and they need you, the parents, to be proud of you. They need you to showcase that success in some way, in some material way. That can be very expensive.
For many African men and women, supporting their families remains a core value, But when only one person in an extended family is financially successful, the expectation to provide can shift from being a family duty to a heavy societal obligation. In such cases, black tax can feel like a form of invisible financial slavery, where personal development is hindered by the constant pressure to support others. Here is a video of former Nigeria and Chelsea footballer Mikel Obi talking about his black tax experience.
I think, obviously, when you come from Africa, and this is something I don't think we speak a lot about. When you come from Africa, I don't know if, when you make money, it's not your money.
Yeah.
It's not just your money.
It's the same.
You know what I mean? It's not just your money. You have all these relatives, cousins, whatever you call it.
Who you didn't know.
Yeah. But these are the things that nobody know about. Your money is not your money. So you get a salary. Now I'm going to put this aside for this person, put that aside for this person, put that aside for my mom and dad. Before you know it, you're looking at them, where is it?
You're on less than them.
Exactly. You get
Siblings and cousins who need help in some way or the other start calling you for help because you are the Messiah for the family, blessed by God to help them out.
Because everything I was getting back then, I was giving so much to the family.
Because you're on so much as well, you think it's not hurting you. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so he was like, Mikel, no, you can't be doing this. You're killing yourself, or you're killing them. Because all you do is keep giving, and they got so comfortable that they expect you to do that for the rest of your life.
You may say he's a footballer and hence so much that it's light work for him. But that's the reason why it's a huge burden for the majority who earns nothing close to a footballer's salary and yet shoulder relatively similar burden. Imagine you are just starting in your career, excited about building your future, but soon you begin to feel the weight of financial responsibilities that stretch far beyond yourself. This is the reality of black tax. In poor African families, it is not uncommon for everyone to work together to ensure that particular members achieve their financial, life, or career goals. This may include everyone pitching in to ensure that a brilliant child, perhaps you watching this video, has access to necessary equipment and provisions for study. With a bit of luck, you then become that well-to-do family member who is a successful banker or whatever.
There are families where you cannot avoid it. I mean, speaking about myself, I've been looking after 3 households for many years. Besides my own family, which is my wife and my 4 kids, there's been my parents' family and my sister's family for some time while they were still alive. They've passed on. And there's my mother-in-law's place, because my wife is the only daughter who's still around. So you end up working out from this one income or income stream what to do and how. And sometimes it's expected and sometimes you can't do much about it.
There will be that expectation to help out your parents get a nice house and live a nice and healthy life. Siblings and cousins who need help in some way or the other start calling you for help because you are the Messiah for the family, blessed by God to help them out. Yes, it can be difficult to say no to family. After all, they had your back and were instrumental to your success. But should that come at the detriment of your future? That's the deadlock question. Because having personal savings will be nearly impossible, investing in assets will barely be a thought, and purchasing a home will be a wish that only a genie can grant. This obligation arises from a sense of duty, cultural norms, and the lack of social safety nets in the African continent, such that your contribution to their well-being is in some way subsidized by steady pension checks for your parents, health insurance, and unemployment stipends. Without these quote and unquote subsidies, you can easily start dedicating nearly 50% of your income to supporting family. Though proud to give back and pay it forward, the burden will no doubt make saving for the future impossible. Trapped by the fear of seeming selfish, you will always feel like every time you take a step forward, there are those you have to pull with you. And then everyone moves so slowly. And this is because when there is no boundaries to how much support to give, and other members aren't pulling their weight as well, it can prevent wealth from being accumulated or passed down generationally.
It doesn't really help the young black professional who's right now supporting mom, dad, sisters, cousins, and has all these expectations. And it's putting massive pressure on young people, especially those who are trying to get ahead and break that poverty cycle.
Yeah, because
Instead of building assets or securing financial independence, families remain dependent on one successful member, perpetuating cycles of poverty This would only create and reinforce an unending poverty cycle, as no one will be able to break free. Here is how that cycle begins. Let's say you are the first to experience upward mobility through education, a well-paying job, or a business, and you become responsible for supporting your extended family. While providing this support is necessary and a moral obligation, without control, it reduces your ability as the breadwinner to accumulate wealth. What then happens is that your children, who are the generation after you, instead of inheriting wealth, they inherit your financial burdens and responsibilities, because you as a breadwinner could not save or invest significantly. So there is little to no pension or investment to be passed down to your children. Instead, they inherit the burden of making sure you are okay. Now, your children are faced with a similar situation to yours, starting from scratch without financial security, savings, or inherited assets. With no inheritance or financial cushion, the next generation will likely struggle with the same financial pressures. When they eventually achieve success, they too are expected to support their extended family, restarting the black tax cycle. Instead of being able to pass down wealth, they pass down poverty or financial struggle. Until this cycle is broken, whether through structural changes, financial education, or the creation of collective wealth-building strategies, poverty will continue to be passed down, delaying the economic progress of the entire family. Well, except one child comes and breaks the wheel to pieces. But since the chances of becoming the next billionaire that came from nothing is quite slim, the practical thing is to play it the way the rich folks build wealth from one generation to the other by passing on assets, like the good book said. That is, you build wealth as much as you can and secure your future so you aren't a burden to your kids. Then your child, who has no extra financial burden because his parents have pensions, then builds his own wealth to add to what is inherited. Then the snowball effect kicks in from one generation to another, at least, until the bastard child arrives and squanders it all. We can't deny the necessity of black tax in the African society and to African families. But in not denying that, let us not forget that the real victims of economic and financial distress are the breadwinning members, the well-to-do. Financially, black tax places a significant strain on individuals who are expected to support extended family members, often diverting 20% to 40% of their income. This hinders personal wealth-building efforts, delaying important milestones like home ownership, investments, and retirement savings, creating a cycle of poverty, heaping emotional stress on the victim, and weakening collective wealth building within communities. All in all, the urgent need to address black tax lies in its capacity to perpetuate cycles of poverty.
But I think the thing is you have to set boundaries. You have to know what is within your limits, and you have to be open and honest with your family.
And you've also got to say, these are my priorities. Why, like my fellow was saying, why don't you ask me if I have an education fund for my children? Why don't you ask me if I have a will in place? Those are the conversations we should be having.
Solutions like financial education, setting boundaries on financial support, and developing community-based wealth-building strategies are essential to breaking this cycle and empowering individuals to secure their own futures while still supporting their families. And of course, a good pension scheme is also a tool to combat the poverty cycle black tax can breed. Please, do well to support your families and community, but not to your detriment. Have personal assets, savings, investment, and then have a limit to the help you give. And most importantly, encourage others to do the same and pull their own weight. That's the only way to ensure we all grow together. What has been your experience with black tax? Please do well, let us know in the comments and like the video. And if someone asks you how you know all this about black tax, tell them you are subscribed to Tayo's Note. And on that note, I'll be catching you on the next one. Cheers, guys.